Hi, Warriors. The times they are changing. Everyone doing okay? Happy Martin Luther King Day. Bran, that's above my pay grade. Okay. Don't expect that from me to make sense of all the changes. Anyway, the charts will tell us what to do, right? So all we have to do is stay focused on price action and our plans and our risk management, and we don't have to make sense out of anything. All we have to do is trade what we see. Don't complicate it. Can I get an amen from the crowd? Trade what
Amen,
you
brother.
see. All right. So we have the whole face community and right here with everyone here. So, right now, I think President Trump made a few bucks on a coin. Is that true? Someone
Just a
said,
couple.
what, I half a billion?
Something like that. Something
Huh?
stupid. Something
Yeah.
stupid he made on it.
All right. Well, I can't guarantee the value of that coin, but it will be a collector's item. All right. So anyway, let's go to work. So the dollar's a little weaker here, Ryan, and we're getting close to where I might get another signal here in euro over 3.5. So that's an add-on for me. Similarly to the Dixie being an add-on under this low from last week, this little wick under this wick. I think you know, it's a negative event for it to take it out. So, where's your head at on a partial day? Stocks are closed. We do have a little futures action. Um, S&P's down a bit. You're going to wait for tomorrow and just wait for the slew of executive orders before
Yeah.
you do anything still. So that could start when? Tonight or
Yeah,
tomorrow?
could start later today. Yeah. After,
Okay.
after all the party and pomp and circumstance around the inauguration, then he walks into the office, gets his pen out, and starts signing things. And then we find out what it is he's going to sign and what it means for everything.
Okay. So you think we'll know sometime today? Is there a time that the community is planning on gathering to, dissect it all?
It's any time from 12 midday your time. I think
Uh,
5 o'clock UK time.
okay.
That's
All
when it all
right.
starts. I don't know how. I think it takes about an hour or so, maybe a bit longer, isn't it? All the speeches and
Oh, the pomp and circumstance?
yeah, all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
once that's all done and fireworks and everyone's shooting guns in the air like you lot like to do, then yeah, he goes into his office and gets started. So
Okay. So he
yeah,
goes into his office and starts trading.
yeah. First thing, see how his Trump coin's doing.
Anyway. All right. So anyway, we're getting some, kind of negative signs in the dollar. Uh, the pound's the one that is the, has the weakest case right now because of this. But anything coming out of the UK, it's not a holiday there.
No, all good over here. Yeah, no real news. We got a decent bit of data coming this week. Jobs report tomorrow. Borrowing numbers on Wednesday, so we should see some moves if we're over the Trump hump at that point.
Canada finally took the stops out. I don't know if it was Friday or Sunday night, or I think it may have been Friday. So we've taken out the stops over this high.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if we're there yet. I looked at a. I do. Okay, go ahead. Yell at me. I use a 15-minute chart just to make sure that there can't, see what the form is. So if I didn't have a 15-minute chart, I wouldn't know that, there's still a good shot for another high for a three and doesn't look terrible. but we're starting to get some whippy action. Okay, this was pretty whippy here. And then a new high without confirming. Let's see, this is 15 minutes, remember? So I don't know. What was your number, Blake? Around 45 and a half, 45.80? Is it still 100
Yeah,
pips?
I think 145.80,
Yeah.
146 is the 161% extension.
Okay. So
So,
yeah, so
and it's doable today. It is.
yeah, because I
There,
noticed Max is pressing the highs or getting ready to. So
yeah.
the people on our borders, uh, their currencies are being pressured, so
Well, that's what we were
they're
talking
worried.
about in the chat room is, there's some speculation that, what we're going to see today is really targeted toward Mexico and Canada. And
Yeah.
so maybe the EU is not targeted initially. So, I think
Yeah.
anybody that's long Canadian dollars or pesos probably are a little nervous right now.
Okay. Anyone have a vibe on yields? Blake, last week they went like the 10-year went right to some kind of breakout, the note, and when it was up here, that's a 15-minute chart. So, do you think there's some more downside in yields? This was, the big move that we had. I don't think we're halfway back yet. Could we get all the way back down towards 4.5 or so, maybe 4.30?
Well, 430 or 426 is basically where the 200 DMA is. So do I think it's possible we get down there? Yeah, after these little false breakouts we saw last week, I think it's possible. But Ryan, you had some comments about yields on the flow show, which I tend to agree with you. Is that the bond market, it's more of the level-headed market. So pay pretty close attention to yields. I think yields are going to be a big driver today.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the TLT held where it had to 105. That's the line of death. Okay, it's a line of death for the bonds because we've already had a tremendous bear market in bonds, right? And it's been trying to base for a long time. And if it's going to break down, and this is a fifth wave, um, I'd be getting out of if I own bonds, I'd be selling them if I had a rally back towards around 89 or so. I think we're going to break down under 85, and I think we're going to challenge and take out these lows. So I'm still looking for higher yields with a correction here first. Okay, I mean, 10-year could correct. Like Blake was saying. Maybe even back down to three. Here it is. Here's 330, which is a big number. I don't know why I had it there, but kind of a big number. Anyway, that's a weekly on 10-year yields. I think we're going to take out the 5% level sometime in January. So this I don't think is a turn. I think it's a correction. Your view, Ryan?
Yeah, personally, I'll see yield struggling at 5% if we get up there, unless inflation's really taking off again, and the Fed are looking at hikes.
Yeah.
If we get up there before then, I think that you're going to find a lot of buyers coming into the bond market, just locking in that yield. It was a great trade last September, October,
Yeah.
to get in buy bonds then, and
Yeah.
I don't think much has changed.
Okay. All right. And see, what else is there that we really need to pay attention to? We have BOJ this week. What are you thinking here? How are you playing it?
I still think that the path of least resistance is higher. If Trump is, this is the thing we've got with Trump and all this tariff. Everyone's looking at tariff, and what it means for the MEX, what it means for the Canadian dollar, what it means for China, yuan, everything else. But you've got to look at what everything he does means for the US economy as well. We could have something like dollar CAD rocketing up if he drops big tariffs. But if overall all his policies are not good for the US, you could see the dollar going the other way, and then that's going to offset the tariff noise, if you know what I mean. So it's there's two-way risk. You can't just say tariffs. All right, dollar MEX is going to the moon or dollar CAD's going to the moon, because if the market takes a dour view of the overall impact for the US, that's potentially going to be negative for the dollar. That's about all that would take dollar yen down. Everything else, if you get a decent dip on the BOJ, I think that's going to be faded pretty quickly.
Sell the rumor, buy the fact on an interest rate increase in the end.
I think they're not going to indicate they're going to hike another 5 times over the next 6 months. So it's probably another one and done for another year, and then while they wait for wages and everything else to play ball.
Okay. Norges is meeting this week, right? That's a NOK.
I don't think there's a Norges bank meeting. Did I miss something, Ryan? Do you know?
I read that there was. I think in our report that we sent out.
Let me check. But I thought it was only the BOJ, but it might not just be ticked up.
Oh no, there is. It is actually Thursday.
It's Thursday. You guys with your charts, you have to pay more attention to the news. You know me. I always stay on top of news. You're doubting me? Huh? Come on.
You read the newsletter, which is great, which was written by Stelios and Steve.
Yeah, I read it every week.
There you go.
Yeah. Only to see if the F.A.C.E ad is still up on there. No, I read it. Anyway, so Norges, we'll see. I'm waiting. I would short it at new highs if we got it on some central bank action. Would you consider, guys, Norway a petrocurrency?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So we know we've had huge moves in oil. It really shook out a lot of bears, and I think there's going to be another high in this, but I'm actually, when I look at it like on a weekly basis and stuff, I
While you're pulling up that chart, well, I mean, one of the big things about Trump is he's going to enact all these these sweeping energy policies.
That could be bearish oil, right?
You would think it'd be bearish oil. So as he allows for increased productivity and a lot of energy products, including crude. So you would think it'd be bearish crude. You'd think.
Yeah, look where it stopped, right at a weekly moving average, up there at 80.
Yeah.
So I'd be on guard here, and not get carried away with energy bullishness, because you have big political winds working against that. So he's going to pay much attention to gas prices as he is the stock market. Okay.
Yeah.
So because that's the working man, how they judge inflation. I don't know if he's going to be able to do much at the stores, with things like grains bottoming and commodity prices. Mother Nature has more to do with it, but he could probably do something here and deliver. That could take us down here into the low 60s. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is that Norway could be peaking along with this crude rally. And if crude heads south and the dollar is heading south, that could be a good short. That's my rationale.
Well, I think the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona, if it breaks 11.20, it's a bearish setup. And the Norges central bank is expected to keep rates unchanged. Just digging a little bit further, and so
yeah, March they said they might, or said they were heading towards a cut in Q1, but now they've narrowed it down to March is when they expect to cut next.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, we'll see. If it does something up here and I have the right readings, I'll attempt it. maybe peaking right here and we're just going to start selling off. It's always either or. But you know what? With the either or, you know what you're going to do on at least the either. Uh, I hear Blake talk about it all the time. He visualizes what a market could do and where it could get. He knows that, it may not play out that way, but I do remember Blake and I for a long time, way, way, way before the euro got to 102, talking about 102 in
Yeah.
euro, that we couldn't wait to see 102. We hoped we'd see 102. And so far, and then we're talking about it at 105, 106. So, I mean, here we are. So I have to play it until proven wrong that this is an important level.
Yeah, and that's as you pointed out, that's the long-term 618 retracement of the September 22 lows to the highs that were in 2023. We hit the 618. It's all around 102. We went past it by what, 20 pips maybe, and thus far we're holding it. And I mean, after today, when we get these sweeping executive orders on
Yeah.
tariffs, we think, there could be a flush in the euro down to below 102,
I
maybe.
would, yeah. We're talking fractions. 101. Okay. Let it go to
Yeah,
101. I'm buying more. Okay. So, you have that 10. So there's a few signals. Um, where there, you don't do anything here because you don't know if we're going to break out or, like Blake said, we'll flush. But I'm ready to act on a flush, and I'm ready to add on a breakout. So I have two potential signals that, maybe I'll get only one. Maybe it's just going to break out and not trade down there. Maybe I'll get two new signals for add-ons down at 101. I have it like 101.30 or something like that. And then, that's how you end up with multiple positions on, not just because you decide to go heavy, but because you're getting signals to help you build it. Ryan,
right.
what do you think?
But let me
Okay, go ahead.
let's talk a little bit about this because Ryan, as Ryan's been talking about this morning, and I agree. We don't know. Well, we don't know anything as of right now, but
Right.
technically, if the euro does push to new fresh lows, what I'm instead of just, this is me just talking technicals here at this stage. If for some reason we just dipped today all the way down to like 101.50, you
Yeah,
got to
that's right.
understand why we're going down there. Like, was there a reason for us, to go down there? And then what I'd be looking at is price action following that. Instead of
Right.
just buying it down there, I'd like to actually maybe see us get
Okay.
back,
See a good
back above
candle.
the, yeah, back above the breakdown point, and
Yeah.
everybody goes, "Oh shoot, that was just a false breakdown." And then I'll get long.
Okay.
Because it
Smart.
might be buy the rumor, sell the news type of event.
Yeah, you want to see some positive action off that level instead
You,
of it just blindly buying the level.
right, because let's say it's a 10% blanket tariff across the board. We listened to Bessent's confirmation hearing, and he threw out a number which we were like all sitting there scratching our head. But hey, he said it, so now we got to kind of listen to it. If, a 10% tariff should equate to a 4% rally in currency to offset that tariff. Right, Ryan, isn't that the number he came up with?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and we were all sitting there going, okay, well, if that's truly the case, and you look at, I don't know where you want to measure the euro or the dollar from. I mean, we've had a 9% rally, or 9% rally in the dollar versus the euro since the election, but and since before the election. So you can
Mm.
say, well, since the election, we've rallied basically 7%. I mean, maybe now it's buy the rumor, sell the news. So on a push lower on a more aggressive tariff outlook, if the euro does push to new lows, maybe it is a fade. But I'd let price do the work for us versus trying to anticipate, because if you get a breakdown, like let's just say, and I want to talk it through. Let's say we get a break below 101.50 right out of the gate today, tomorrow. What's to say that we can't get a further stop loss run all the way below parity, on a move like that? So rather than just kind of stepping in, I might just stand aside and see what happens. Just so you guys know, also, I pulled off every position. I was carrying an Aussie Kiwi short. I even removed that position today because if for a break even, and I was just like, I don't even want it on my board. So I have zero focus on anything else but what's happening in the dollar. So I'm as flat as a pancake in FX right now, which is weird. I don't know how often I do that. It's not very often, actually. So feels a little strange. But Ryan, what do you have to say about, like, let's say the euro does break into new lows? What would you do there?
You said exactly what I was saying on the flow show this morning. People asking about Aussie dollar and other pairs, and you've got to look at it at what happens if you get a flush through the lows, but it doesn't hold. 10, 15 minutes later, we're back above those lows. Then you've got to think that the worst is potentially over, and we're going to be heading higher. But if you get a break of those lows or the 102 area and it's holding, that's when you've got to be careful. You're on Aussie dollar. It's the same picture, 61.30s, 61.70s, those couple of lows. If you're below and holding below, like the bounce can't get through, that's when you've got to be careful being long, and that's when you've got to think about perhaps shorts, because it still needs a lot for this trend to change. I think the 38.2 of that move from 69s is at 64.40 or something, miles away, absolutely miles away.
Yeah. And it's like you look at the Aussie, like today's highs was channel resistance. That was today's high. And I mean, we're only 20 pips below that. I mean, we've got some pairs that are really showing us, a potential reversal should the market give us that today. But we have to see what the Trump team's gonna sign into action, and because you could look at this right now in the Aussie and say, well, today was the channel resistance, but by the end of the day, we could be trading below 61 cents. And this right here could be one big red freaking candle. You know what I mean? I mean, that's entirely possible today. And I know some of you are thinking, well, why don't I just short the Aussie and put stops above the highs? You could do that, but you're going to get a lot of there's going to be a lot of volatility, I would assume, probably a couple hours after the inauguration, which happens to be at noon Eastern. So depending on wherever you guys are at, just remember it's noon Eastern. It's going to be the inauguration. Who knows how long it's going to be? What'd you say, Ryan? Maybe about an hour. I would assume it's somewhere.
I think that thing goes on for a couple of hours, doesn't it? Where they're all playing music and
I mean, it's definitely a ceremony. So
exactly, yeah.
But
I think as far as everything goes, okay, it's obviously you've got to read what each executive order means or whatever. But I think there's easy things to look for. Obviously, if he turns around and says, right, I'm slapping 200% tariffs on Mexico, that's bad. But I think what will counter that, if he gives all these countries the opportunity to come to the negotiating table. So if he says, I will slap 200% tariffs on at this date, 6 months' time, if they don't play ball, anything like that leaves the door open for negotiation, not for that full tariff to come on. I think you see the opposite reaction to the larger threat, shall we say?
Yeah, and just I'm going to throw this out there just because we have a few minutes before Dale has his interview. If you guys didn't see, we've removed the pricing special that we've had since New Year's, or since just before New Year's. We have $1 for 10 days to be part of our community. If you guys are not in the Forex Analytics chat room and having these discussions with people, knowing where, Ryan's and that Simon needs to be paid $1 billion in our chat room. If you're not having these conversations with us or other traders, like-minded traders, make sure you take advantage of the Forex Analytics community. It's $1 for 10 days. Just jump in there, and then you can go from there and see if it was beneficial to you. This is going to be a lot of volatility over the next couple of weeks, guys. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So anyway, Ryan, thanks for that update, because I do think that that's really important, important point that you're making regarding the tariffs. It's not just about the tariffs, it's what other conditions are around for that.
And the retaliation to the tariffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's only one side of it. If it's a trade war, it doesn't mean we're just firing bullets. Right?
That's right. I mean, Canada's already prepared, they're
saying that we can't, they're not going to ship any Crown Royal to the US anymore. And if they do, it's without the purple velvet sack. Can you believe that? That's Justin Trudeau on his way out.
Revolting. No, but the thing is it's obviously well known that Trump does not like Trudeau and vice versa. So I mean, the tit for tat in Canada could be pretty, intense, I think. What's Trudeau have to lose at this point? It's going to
be interesting, man.
It's going to be interesting. And having the headlines, knowing what's moving the market, here with Live Squawk is going to be great. Make sure you guys, have access to all this stuff. It's going to be a hell of a one. I want
to inaugurate a couple of new members today on inauguration day. Can I get someone who wants to, on this historic day, enter our community? Give me a yes if you're ready to go and be part of our community.
Well, we've had one today. We've had one today.
Well, that's not enough for inauguration day.
That's right.
How about someone who's been in here in F.A.C.E for 8 years and still hasn't joined? Anyone out there that
actually, as Ryan said, we had somebody who's been listening in for years, who lives in Australia, who's an American and expat, and he joined today as well. So it's okay. It's a growing community, guys. It's been
oh, there you go.
For a long
Is
time,
that him, so.
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome to our family, man.
Yeah.
Good hunting this year. All right, Jor. Spread the word.
With the dollar mix, I want to just kind of focus on this one really quick, because I know this one's going to be on the spotlight. Notice how we're at highs. Yeah. This is a resistance that I've actually shorted the US dollar Mexican peso a couple of times over the last week, maybe up here. I'm not doing it today, obviously, but there's an opportunity for us to push to 22, which that's a big move from where we're currently at, from 21 to 22 or 2090 to 22. But also the flip side is, a dip back below 20 is going to, elicit some pretty serious selling in the dollar mex as well. I think we keep an eye on the dollar mex. I have still yet to confirm if Scheinbaum's going to be at Trump's inauguration. I'm assuming she's not, because if she was, I would have assumed that the Mexican peso would have been a little bit stronger. So she probably just sent a delegation to Washington. That would be my assumption. But I don't know. I haven't been able to find out. But that's one I think we should be paying really close attention to today. Dollar CAD, obviously, this we're just sitting here in this consolidation phase in a really nice bullish trend. That 161% extension is around 146, which Dale mentioned a little earlier. I think it is the level that You could say you'd sell it up there, but you also have to look at the idea of if we do break 147, 148, we could be trading at 150 really quick. I mean,
Yeah, look
this
at
would
it.
be a massive breakout too. The flip side is dollar CAD above here, you know.
I'd love to see a false breakout over that area. That would be a clean signal. Let it break out. Where's that come in? 44.60?
Up here?
Yeah,
This
that
is like
that last break.
147. Oh, wait. Whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa, whoa. Dollar's selling off, guys. What? Did we just get news? Oh, it was what happened?
Trump
Wow.
Don't know. There's I saw a headline. There was an excerpt from his inauguration
speech.
speech.
Oh, there you go.
He
Uh-oh.
says he's going to order resumption of the border wall construction. Have a look at MEX, dollar MEX.
Right.
Dollar Max, it just sold off. It's the euro dollar just pushed to 103.40.
Yeah, right to the
Sorry, I'm
breakout.
just kind of looking around, guys. I'm just sitting there thinking, what in the hell do I do? I'm probably going to be passing it over to you, Dale, because you have Chris here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
um,
you know what? The CAD, that may have been it for a CAD. I mean, it made new highs. It's under the stops. Look at the divergence, Blake, on the daily. It's glaring. You don't have to put your cursor up against it. And if it's not, you just risk a little over today's highs and you're gone, and then you reassess at 45.80. But I don't know, I guess they're not going to make it convenient for us to get our numbers
you know
anymore.
what? All I have to say right now is you guys got to be careful because I think there's some pretty big moves that are brewing right at this moment. So,
Yeah, it's already
um,
happening.
what's that?
They're already happening.
They're already happening right now, guys. I got long a little euro about 20 pips ago. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I'm gonna pass you over to Chris. Good luck, everybody. Be in the Forex Analytics chat room. That's gonna be the place to be. All right.
All right, Ryan, thank you. Blake, thank you. I'll see
Cheers,
you
all.
guys tomorrow as we enter a brave new world that started before inauguration. All right, so we got our first taste, and I have Chris with us from Christie Macro. Chris,
Morning,
welcome
Dale.
back, man. How are you? So, you ready for Trump 2.0?
Always. Let's do it.
Okay, so tell me what your thoughts are going into this with, a lot of executive orders and stock market's been a little bit more of a two-way street. What's top of mind for you after, the red sweep and what's going on as far as with Musk and stock market? You still looking for melt up much higher levels?
In the stock market, yeah, I'm still bullish. I think we're in the second phase of the recovery from the 2022 bear market, superinflation environment.
Okay.
And so I think from this point on, I think the Fed or the central banks around the world have pretty much stopped being as involved. As a parent would help their child when they go out into life, get their first apartment, go to college or whatever. I think the Fed has kind of been doing that, not the Fed, but central banks globally. They've been doing
Right.
that since about 2023, and now it's the point of like, okay, let's see what the young man can do on his own, what the economy can do on their own with business and growth and everything. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'll if you want, I'll show you what I'm looking
Yeah.
at.
Sure.
And Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah. Happy New Year, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. So on my screen, I have global liquidity. Um, you can see that this would have been our fun 2020 clown show, I guess, of of global liquidity. We had that quick recession that lasted a few minutes, um, and then they just stimulated. So what we're looking at here is just liquidity being pumped into the global economy And this is, like I said, kind of alluded to, the idea behind it is you're just, 18 years old, 19, 20 years old, whatever it is. Your parents are helping you with your first house, apartment, whatever, car, going to
Yeah.
college. They let you out. They support you for a little bit because they ultimately want you out. And then after a period of time, you start earning. You start, you get your feet underneath you. You become a little bit more responsible adult, and they don't need to help you out anymore. And so, coming out of, if I'll try to make it a little bit bigger here if I can. I guess I
All
can.
right. So
Um,
so Paul was our dad, and who was our mom? Yellen?
oh gosh.
Who was our
Let's just go
uncle?
globally. Let's just go
Bernanke?
globally.
Uncle Ben?
Probably Xi Jinping. But yeah, no, we're looking at global liquidity here. Of course, the
All
U.S.
right.
is the biggest there, but China's probably one of the biggest, as well. And this kind of going into Q4 as they started to cut rates in the U.S. The world had already started. That's when liquidity pretty much eased up in the markets. So from 2020, late 2022, from the market bottom, in essence, in S&P
Yeah.
terms, it pretty much they just fueled it. And so they artificially stimulate a weak economy, which is what we need to get going. And then they turn it off and they say, okay, business, do your thing. We got you here. We're not worried about existential risks of banks blowing up anymore. We're not worried about so much of that sort of stuff. Now we want to see growth. We want to see earnings, and so the growth in earnings moves from the chosen few, right? Apple and Mag 7, where they have the largest economies, or the largest businesses, market cap, $1 trillion market caps, earning billions of dollars at 20 to 30% margins. Of course, the easy money goes there. It's not even, you don't need to be very smart to think to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to invest in something that makes billions of
Well,
dollars with
what do you
huge
think
profit
about
margins.
this drawdown in Apple, though? To me, it's like the tree that fell silently in the forest. It is a redwood. It's one of the big
Yeah,
trees.
yeah.
So what do you think of that? I mean, we're down well over 20% in a month.
Yeah. Well, it also had quite an incredible spike there
Yeah,
at the end. Let me see if
it did. It
let's
did.
pull up Apple here. I was just looking at I got a lot more takes on currencies and
Oh,
that.
well,
So,
let's go there.
but let's see. So the idea here, take this off, whatever that means. Yeah, it basically came right back. I'll make this a lot
Yeah,
bigger. So in Q4, Apple pretty much just took off from like the 230 to 260 level, and we're
yeah,
back at 230. So what the move that we're seeing, I believe, is again, we had that Mag 7 suck everything because it was easy, because it didn't take any brain power to realize that as long as they keep printing money, in essence, as long as all the money keeps going to these big companies, then it's just going to continue to keep earning the same way it is. And everything's going to do good. Well, it's a wealth effect from here. In the early stages of recovery, it's very easy to get into Apple and the bigger money flows there. But eventually you start realizing you're a genius because you got long a bull market and risk starts moving out. So as liquidity stops flowing into the market so much, as these big Mag 7s start, taking all the money, suddenly, like the Fed says, hey, business, do what you do, economy, grow, you have real businesses, start trying new things, start taking down these big behemoths and compete with the Apples and the Microsofts and the Open AIs and the Nvidias and all that. So when Nvidia was leading, there was no better place to be in the AI space. But as we get further into this, the wealth effect moves out and risk starts going to new innovative ideas because the margins are so good that creates that competition demand, right?
So do you think
That
there's flow out of these stocks into
that's
other
it.
stuff? So they're
If
a
I would have said
source
it
of
that way, that would have
funding.
been better.
Yeah, because so they're basically people are rotating out of
Yeah.
these things into other, what sectors are they going into when they're rotating out?
Well, obviously, we're either talking about solid growth of fundamentals or speculation, and certainly we move more into speculation as we get into the second half of the cycle, where we're getting growth, inflation's hopefully staying low, and so if we're looking at the AI play, it has been NVIDIA and Microsoft mostly, Meta, Mag 7 plus, NVIDIA. It wasn't a good move to get into things outside of NVIDIA up till this point because it just took it all. Now the competition, about 2 years into it, now competition can start going in there, and the speculative environment of chip makers, Databricks is going to be going public. We're going to start seeing a lot of that capital that has flown into the AI space probably start moving more towards the edges of the speculation side of the AI space. And I think your point bringing up Musk and the new administration, I think that there's going to be a lot more opportunity in a lot less concentration than it has been. So yeah, the S&P 493 are probably going to start doing a lot better than the S&P 7, right?
How about the small caps? Are they ever going to come alive?
Individually, yeah.
Will.
Individually, I would say so. The index itself, let me just pull this up. So this was last Monday. This is NASDAQ, S&P, Russell, and S&P 400 mid caps.
Yeah.
And Russell and mid caps, so small caps and mid caps, have led since last week's low in the market, leaving NASDAQ at the lowest. So what we don't want to see the Russell index really take off in strength. When that starts happening, that's when we get to more of a peak. So I'm thinking probably the first half of 2025 we're gonna slowly start getting that stuff, and then eventually when Russell really takes off, that if it does, that's where I would look to really start to dial in risk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Because they're the trash.
Yeah, if you're in the Russell 2000, your job is to get out of it and get into the S&P, and so they don't reward people, companies that stay in there.
All right, what are you seeing in FX, buddy?
Okay, so let's do now every time we chat, we talk about market regimes, and the market regime is, I use an indicator down here at the bottom. It's called the SQN indicator, and it measures price, direction, and like volatility. So it combines the most recent price changes of the last 100 days. And so you'll see directional, like it starts going directionally along with the price. And when it peaks, we either get this dark red, and I hope it's easy enough to see, this dark red at the bottom, or the dark blue at top. And either of those indicate a high volatile regime, and a high volatile regime is the foundation for a potential reversal. So until you get those, reversals are really not that
common,
easy to expect. And as we go back over the years, you can see pretty good reversal in 2017, pretty good reversal in 2016 there. It doesn't mean that they are going to reverse right away, obviously. It just means that the environment is finally available for a reversal. And across the board so I'm going to pull up the futures.
Canada reversed today.
Yeah. And so let me pull up. So this is the future. So for those of you, this is so Euro USD, GBP USD, Swissy USD, CAD USD. That if you're FX traders, this is like the dollar in the denominator. And so sometimes it's gonna, whereas USD CAD is gonna go up, this one's down. So what I'm showing here is we got reversals in Euro, Pound, Swissy, Loonie, Kiwi. And so 5 of the 8 big currencies around the world have put in that high volatile reversal type area. And you can see euros just off and running right
Leading.
now.
Yeah, leading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, And so let me bring that over to these are the bonds. So 30-year, 10-year, 5-year, and 2-year across the bottom. And again, you know, if we pull up you can see that a week or two ago across the board, we got bonds in that reversal potential. Doesn't mean they're there. Doesn't mean it's happening, but it's potentially there. And of course, that would mean that Dixie would have the same. And so this is
the Dixie. I think it topped last week. So and
it's
Canada took its time and didn't top until maybe today.
Well,
So it
yeah,
was the last one.
It has been the peso specifically, interestingly enough, has been among the strongest in the sense that it got down there and it has just stayed there. Whereas, like you said, Canada has been there for a little bit, but only about a month. It went just straight down for 3 years, right? 84 down to 60. Or that's probably you want to do dollar CAD, but it had been in just
So
that straight move.
Bearish the dollar, bullish
I'm
the
believing.
market.
Yep. So the other thing is oftentimes you need a weak dollar to get strength in equities and
Everything.
like crypto. Yeah. And we've had strength in everything while the dollar has been. Yeah. So one of the things that I always, these are my little, every time I come on, I've said bull S&P every time I've visited you. I've been bull S&P, and it's always happened like, you know, right around when stuff falls. But it turns out within a month or two, we resolve. And so this measures the 10-week simple moving average of the New York Stock Exchange advancing issues, this oscillator down here at the bottom. Every time we get down into that shaded area has been, and this blue vertical lines is where the signals happen. Every time we get down in there, that is a buying opportunity in this bullish regime environment. And we just did that last week, or the end of the year. And so far, last week was a big up week coming up out of that area. And it looks like so far today, we probably are going to continue with that. So for the next little while, probably into April, seasonality shows us as a stronger area starting this week into April as tax season, you know, comes into play.
So first quarter looks good.
I think so. The kind of following along with the Canadian dollar play. I want to take a look at crude real quick, if we got a second.
We do.
I think we're just waiting for, you know, the big man to get inaugurated and start laying hate to the to the markets in our
all right. Well,
our life.
you know, I mean, just as he follows, I was saying in F.A.C.E earlier, what stocks are doing, he'll also, you know, really want to get gas prices down. And so do you think he'll be successful? Because technically I could see that we're in some kind, I don't see it and what you have on the bottom, but I think we could be close to some topping zone here.
So the same scenario here. When we're in this like light green area, looks yellow to me as a colorblind chap.
It's yellow.
But thank you. That's a neutral market regime, and that is there's no trend that's really running the show. It's kind of it needs to it's a neutral regime. It needs to mean revert mostly until it gets trending, and so trends go further and last longer than everybody expects, but everybody tries to get on them really early. The secret with trend is to just get on a trend once it's been established because they last a lot longer. Trying to catch trends early is when you get this real choppy mean reversion and everybody gets bowled up really quickly. for no real reason. So this is, in my opinion, this is a nice mean reversion back into the range. You can have an incredibly strong economy with, as we've been talking about, right? Low inflation, high growth. Right now, we've got inflation, for the most part, taken care of on the CPI. Not fully taken care of, but certainly not what it was 2 years ago. And we need growth to kick in. And of course, how do we get growth to kick in? We don't let things like oil, gas prices interfere with it.
Right.
So I believe, like you guys were saying, that gas prices are probably going to stay within a range. It had a really aggressive spike up here, but our regime is telling us that there's no reason to be looking to go long. It's more of a opportunity to ride the wave up, ride the wave down. So I think that's what probably is going to happen. We got short over the weekend, or well, last night, I guess, crude, and looking for a move back into maybe 72, 73 range. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Great
that's
having you here on a holiday, Chris.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it. I missed it last week, I think, or the week before.
Oh, yeah, no problem. But
We had travel.
I love the name pollinate trading, because what bees do is, they pollinate so there could be growth. And
That's exactly right.
right. So I thought that was, the reason behind the name. So I hope that you not only continue to help traders grow, but that you have growth in your business, growth in your P&L and your account, and keep pollinating away, buddy.
You bet.
You're helping people.
I appreciate that, Dale. Well, we got a new family member come to the crew soon too, so pollinating
Oh
there as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
Congratulations, Chris. All
Thank
right,
you.
buddy. So we'll talk in the spring, and you could always reach out to me, and I'm rooting for you.
I really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for having me. And my last thing, when Bitcoin's finally done, then we're going to get the rest of the cryptos are going to start playing. But it's not time to play the non-Bitcoin game. Everybody, stick with the big leader.
Okay, don't buy the Trump coin. You bought one, didn't you?
I traded it for a little bit, yeah. But no,
Oh,
I'm
you're not taking
99% of
delivery and put it in a
it.
picture frame.
I don't believe that is the plan. No, I got
Uh,
out on Saturday. I traded a little bit Saturday for fun, but no, I'm
it's just unbelievable to me, an old timer like me, to
it's
see all the action, and you know
it's wild. Yeah.
it makes Pink Sheets look like a conservative investment.
It
I mean, it's like Pink Sheets on steroids. And
was
at least the Pink Sheets tried to be a company, or were at least a company.
yeah.
Uh, they had some plan behind it. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
I'm what they call that, anachronism now. Uh, all right, bro.
All
Everyone
right.
follow Chris on X at Chris D Macro, and keep him on your list. Say hello. And Chris, he does a lot on X to educate, so put him on your list. And I'll see you in April, buddy.
All right, sir. Have a wonderful, not sir, I'm gonna stop calling you sir, buddy. We had
All
that
right,
chalk
man.
last time.
All right.
Take it easy,
All
sir.
right. You
I
too,
did it again.
Chris. That's
Bye.
okay. Bye-bye. So everyone, we'll see you tomorrow for the real action. Although it's really already started. All I can say is get used to it and take advantage of it. See everyone tomorrow. Go Irish. Go Irish tonight. Who's with me? Hasn't Ohio State won enough? Come on. Who wants Notre Dame to win? Anybody besides me in this room? Huh? Okay. All right. Don't just count your pips. Count your blessings. Adios. It's a football team. It's a national championship. All right. Go play soccer. All right. Adios.